Spring has come, the trees proclaim, bursting into flower. Spring is one of my favourite times of year. The season's beauty feeds my imagination. The colours and scents renew my spirit. What is your favourite season, Wonder Weavers? I'd love you to share. So this week, Wonder Weavers, I have spent my time thinking about rugs. So I didn't end up finishing the library because I went down a rabbit hole. I started thinking about how I could make rugs. When I reviewed my plan for the dollhouse, I realized that rugs were a major feature of several of the rooms, and that I hadn't really considered well how I was going to either make them or where I might purchase rugs that would be suitable for the rooms. And so this sent me down a rabbit hole. I started realizing that there were lots of decisions to make, and I then did a lot of research. I watched a lot of videos looking at how various people have tackled this little challenge, and I got some great ideas. And so in the description box below you'll find links to some of the materials I consulted. They include YouTube videos, websites, blogs, and I have to say I really enjoyed watching some of the short videos made by museums on this topic, particularly Victorian rug making techniques. After doing the research, I decided to conduct a creative experiment, and I made my first rug. This experiment was a compromise between my skill set, my resources, and historical authenticity. Now, as you know, I'm fascinated by the Victorian and Edwardian eras, but I'm not tied to them. So there is room for innovation and creativity to come through. So I hope you enjoy watching the creative experiment, and I would love to hear from you. I'd love to know how your creative project is going, and if rugs are an integral part of your project, then I'd love to know, how are you approaching that? Are you buying your rugs? Are you making them? I'd really love for you to share with us. I hope you enjoy. I start my creative experiment by first thinking about what kind of rug I'd like to make. Since I'm currently working on the library, I've decided to try and make a hallway runner. I've learned through my reading that during the Victorian period, hallway or foyer runners were often elaborate. I look at examples and then have a play in my journal, sketching rough ideas for designs. While sketching, I also consider where I'm going to place the runner, and the dimensions of this area influence its length and width. In the end, I decide that I'd like to create a rug that's more French provincial in style. I start by drawing the contours of the design onto a strip of burlap. my decision to use burlap was influenced by 19th century rug making trends. During this time, people were incredibly resourceful, and burlap was used for a variety of purposes, such as roughly packaging products. It was also used as backing for carpets and rugs. And as I have found, the material frays easily, but it is easy to work with. After mapping out my design, I take small amounts of dyed wool. I'm using a mixture of merino and alpaca roving wool. I place very small amounts of the wool in the areas where I want it to sit. I then put my mini rug in the making onto a sponge, grab my felting needle, and begin to felt the wool to the burlap. As I felt, I see bare patches, so I simply take a small amount of wool and begin to attach it with my needle. It's coming along nicely. As you can see, the material is attaching well to the burlap. The rug is also lovely to touch. It has a nice, soft texture. Next, I take tapestry thread. I've decided to embellish the rug by sewing some patterns. The style of the rug is floral, so with a darker but complementary green, I sew stitches of various lengths around the edges of the white circles, and these will represent leaves. Once finished, I cut away any excess thread. In the center of the white circles are roses. To make them stand out a little bit more, I sew short stitches. These will represent the darker petals. I next cut around the edges of the rug, removing the excess burlap. As I mentioned earlier, burlap frays easily. To help maintain the integrity of the material, I glue the edges and let them dry. Then with tapestry thread, I applique along the edges of the rug. I then needle felt over the stitches and cover any remaining bulb patches. As a final step, I paint the back of the rug with PVA glue. And there you go, I've made my first rug. I hope you enjoyed this episode, Wonder Weavers. Take care, stay well, and don't forget to play. Ciao.